Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Like Mother, Like Murder. This is a part 2, and we are going to be getting right into it. I hope you guys understand my reasoning behind doing this. I know I don't do it with every single case that I cover, but very often I do my best to try to separate the piece of shit who we are discussing, from the person, the survivor, the victim, whatever it may be. And I felt that it was very, very necessary in this case, especially with Cleo being so young and wanting it to be about her in the investigation in the first part. So if you guys have not listened to part 1, please go start there and then come back to this. Let's dive in. Shortly after 1 a.m. in the morning, Ellie Smith woke to her phone ringing. It was the Homicide Squad's Detective Sergeant Jason Hutchinson. "We've got someone here that wants to speak with you," he says. It was Cleo, safely in the hands of the detectives who had just rescued her from the home of Terrence Kelly. A home that was only minutes away from Cleo's family home in Carnarvon, and the girl was reunited with her parents just moments later, on the way to the local hospital to be assessed.
You know that Ellie, is Ellie or Ella? Ellie. Right? Ellie was had to pinch herself. Being woken up first thing in the morning, I'm sure she thought it was a dream at first. She had to pinch herself.
Right.
Oh.
Right. They ended up announcing it after, in that morning there was a press conference, and I'll get into that. But one of the things that I read is that the community, right, this went on for 18 days. Everyone there knew about it, would help with searches, would volunteer in one way or another. So this community was also aching for Cleo, right? Yeah. And so when this was announced, they said that the local shops ran out of supply of pink and purple balloons because they were putting them all up everywhere with signs that say Cleo is home. We're done crying. Let's talk some crap. So Terrence Kelly.
Okay.
Terrence Kelly is the person responsible for the abduction of Cleo Smith from her campsite at the Blowholes in Western Australia. Like I mentioned, Cleo was wrapped snug in her sleeping bag inside her tent with her family where she should have been safe. Yet this disgusting human took it upon himself to unzip this family tent, reach in, and kidnap 4-year-old Cleo Smith. Then for the next 18 days, he hid Cleo and he hid himself while this family suffered the thought of what happened, and while law enforcement did a tremendous job on a search effort that ultimately led them straight to Kelly himself. So the phone pings that we had talked about in the first episode helped to find where Terrence Kelly was. And it also shows how with it he was to make very conscious decisions as he was on these drugs he was on. So even more of I can't even give any sort of sympathy or anything whatsoever, because he made the choice to, after he went there to steal from the campgrounds and ends up taking Cleo, he turns his phone off. But as he's going home, he turns it back on. That is how they are able to end up finding him, his location. And like I had mentioned, they were looking into all of the pings, all of the shoe tracks, and trying to narrow it down. That is how they came across him in the first place. Mm-hmm. November 3rd, 12:45 in the morning, law enforcement forcibly entered Terrence's residence, where they found Cleo in a back room all alone. She was there by herself. Terrence Kelly was arrested outside of the home just minutes later. Going back to the night of October 16th when Cleo was abducted, Kelly was high on methamphetamines and was looking for things to steal at the campsite. That is when he came across Cleo and decided to take her instead. Kelly suffers from different mental impairments, including but not limited to severe personality dysfunction. And the chief judge stated that he experienced chronic and complex trauma and profound disadvantage, as well as early neurodevelopmental impairments during his young age. Kelly, in his trial, makes a statement saying, quote, I, wanted to hold on to her. I wasn't planning to keep her forever, end quote. I'm sorry, but fuck that.
How old is this guy?
36 when he
and
did
high
it.
on methamphetamines.
Correct.
Okay, sure. Maybe you have a history of mental illness, but you're high on methamphetamines, and then you took her, which still is not okay, but then you kept her for 18 days. Were you high on meth the entire fucking time? Not that that's an excuse, but what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm going to tell you a lot of stuff. This guy has a lot of stuff going on. And as much as I try to be someone who can sympathize or feel for somebody, right. I will never, when it comes to a child, let me make that very, very clear that I will never, especially when you hear this. Oh, God. While he had Cleo hostage, Cleo heard her name on the radio and said, they're saying my name. And then he would turn the radio to a different station, play it louder to drown out any of the noises that Cleo would make in the home.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. This part I am going to read directly from an article that will be sourced in the show notes. After his arrest, Kelly told police he, quote, roughed Cleo up a bit a few times, end quote, and became angry when Cleo got bossy, asking for chocolate, but claimed he didn't want to hurt her and wanted to make sure that she was comfortable. He said Cleo cried often and that he tried to unsuccessfully tie her up.
Oh my God!
He said he used sticky tape, but it wasn't working, so I thought, I won't tie her up anymore with the sticky tape. I tried to tie her to the chair, and that with her hands, feet, and mouth, I tried to do that. But she was a bit of a fighter.
Yeah, you fucking were. Yes, Cleo. Yes, girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be bossy. This is why. Okay, hold on. Let me stop yelling because sorry for blowing out your guys' ears. Rachel, edit that down.
Okay.
This is why we raise our young girls to understand that they do not have to be okay with people doing something that they don't like. My own daughter will tell me, I will say, I want a hug. Can I have a hug? And she'll say no. I have to respect that because I want her to be able to know that she can say that to anyone at any time. When they call my children bossy, yeah, fucking they are bossy because they stand up for what they want and I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's also a difference. There's a respect level too in raising them to know their boundaries, value their self-worth, those kind of things. It brings me back to our Mother's Day shirt, Raising Gentle Warriors, and the fact of, wanting them to be kind, be able to, live in this world knowing that there is good and there is love and there is that, and to put that out into the world as well. But also to never, ever, ever let anybody walk all over you, do something that is against what you want to be done, and to stand up for yourself.
That's right.
During the time that Kelly had Cleo being held as a hostage in his house, he was spotted out in the community, visiting with his family and out shopping. Cleo was left alone at the house very often for hours. And, kind of thank God for that, honestly, because I want him as far away from her as humanly possible, but also extremely traumatizing for a child who was just taken from her family and then has to go through this as well. Throughout his trial, a psychiatrist found that Kelly longed for a family of his own, and that he would actually fantasize about it, creating Facebook accounts of his fake children and owning Bratz dolls and playing with them like they were his family members. Since this, he has been diagnosed with severe personality disorder, depression, paranoid schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress disorder, and narcissism.
Narcissism for sure, because, I can't have this on my own, so I'm just going to take it from somebody else.
It's not how it works.
Nope.
Look, it seems like this guy had it rough, right? He needed and still needs a lot of help for himself. But at the same time, I really don't give a shit I'm sorry. I don't care about stuff like that because it's clear he is a danger to others, especially children. And he knew
what he was doing. He knew it was wrong. This is the thing. He knew it was wrong because he hid her.
Right.
He hid her away.
Yes.
So it's one thing when you have someone who's so far into their, not reality, right? Someone who has a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, who is so deep into unreality that they do these things because they believe it to be the truth, right? He knew this was wrong. Yeah. He knew it was a bad thing. He tried to hide it. Period.
He could be released in 2033.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not.
They better release him straight into a mental institute then, because it seems like he still needs help.
Terrence Kelly was given 13 years and 6 months jail time, and he is eligible for parole.
Nope.
Cleo's family sat in the court and watched as Cleo's abductor was sentenced and gave a statement saying that finally, with this sentence, it will give them some peace.
Yeah, but how fucking scary. How fucking scary that, like, you are just going to be sitting there 13 years from now and you're going to be thinking, or earlier because he could be eligible for parole in how long? Rachel?
No. It's not even that. No, not that. The fact that, 13 years, she isn't even an adult by then.
I know,
she
that's
was
what I'm
4
saying.
when this happened. And so I don't know why that fact alone infuriates me more than any of it.
Yep.
The parents had to go through the worst time of their life. This child had to go through the worst time of her life as this 4-year-old child. And so they have their own trauma that they have to work through because of this fucking man.
Yep.
So it's just hard to know that, 10 years, in less than 10 years, he could be out and she's not even going to be fucking 18 by then?
You realize that her whole life now, she's obviously going to be scared. And then when this guy gets out, all she's going to be doing is trying to look over her fucking shoulder.
Right.
Especially because it was so, like, weirdly obsessive with her, right? He wants a family. So, like, how can you not think that, like, he would want, no. So I feel like we're not familiar with Australian law. But
I'm not familiar with any law.
True. We're not experts by any means. But I do know, and we're probably going to get people saying, that's not Norway, that's Sweden. I don't know. I think maybe it's both. Some Scandinavian country, what they do, people like this, they obviously have something going on. No doubt this guy has something going on mentally, but clearly he's a danger, okay, to society in that he did something that was not okay and violent. It wasn't like he abducted her and then just tried to, like, I'm just going to take care of you. No. He was trying to tie her up. He even said in his own words, he tried to rough her up. That's not okay.
No.
So what happens a lot of time, okay, you serve your sentence, and when you're quote unquote released, you're released right into another institution where you can get the help you need. No doubt this guy needs help. You can get the help you need, but that's where you are until you are deemed no longer to be a problem. Nope. That guy should never get out. Nope. Sorry. So, no.
Yep. I just shared a picture of Terrence Kelly with Heather. You guys can look him up. You can see him on our socials. I could not imagine a 4-year-old, anybody, being taken by this man and then knowing that he's going to get out. To me, that is not enough time. Nothing ever seems right to me. So, except for the amazing police work and investigation. That was all right. And I truly just need to give them their flowers because they brought Cleo home to her family safe and sound, okay? After Kelly's sentencing, the Western Australia Police Commissioner said this, quote, "To Cleo, we owe you your privacy. We owe you to grow up and have your dreams come true. from all of us, it's time for us to give you the space to do so. I truly hope nothing but the best for Cleo and her family, and I hope that every year they just get stronger and closer and happier and live a beautiful life together. The pictures that I have seen of this family, the 4 of them, they're beautiful. Hopefully they're getting the help that they need to work through this, because unless you've been through something like this, you cannot imagine that terror, that trauma that sticks with it. So I'm just rooting for this family in every single way that I possibly could be.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Now that we are done talking about that awful, awful human, I just, you know what, like, hopefully his sentence gets extended as well. Let me add that, because I just can't even think about the thought of him getting out. So
I know.
All right, let's end on a positive note, you guys. To everyone who has left us a rating and review, we adore you. You know, they mean the world to us. They help us grow and be seen by others. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have not done that yet, please consider doing it. It truly does help. Another thing that I did want to add is that I was recently on Twisted and Uncorked. So if you guys have not went and checked out Twisted and Uncorked with the amazing Alicia and Sierra, please go do that. They are great. Alicia, she actually reached out to one of the groups to see if anyone was available, and it was me and another badass mama podcaster, Jasmine, who jumped on with her. And Jasmine, she's the host of Black Coffee, Crime, and Crochet, and we joined Alicia for an episode that is only on Twisted and Uncorked, so you got to go there to check it out. That will be coming out soon, if it is not already out, because I do not know as of this recording today. But yeah, that's all I've got for you, Heather. That is the crazy case of beautiful 4-year-old Cleo disappearing. And
I had no idea where any of this was going, Rachel. You took me on an emotional journey. You know, we tend to, guys, we tend, you guys know, not to, we're very mom focused, which means there are a lot of kids throughout our episodes. We don't always go into episodes involving children, I think, for the same reasons that we talked about. Like, it's really hard for us. I mean, do you want to hear us literally bawling on every episode? Right. Because we would. But I feel that a few things specifically for this case that I find so important and so amazing and so happy that you covered. This is just that investigation. Like, this is top tier. This is top freaking tier. And this is like a standard that should be the standard. This is what every case deserves. And so for that, I am so glad you covered it, because we cover, like we said, we cover cases where, like, they don't even start looking until like a week later. So thank you for bringing that, and for bringing, you know, the survivor story, because we need oh my gosh, scary and like nail biting, and oh my gosh, as that was, the immense relief, you know, from knowing that Cleo is with her family is so great, especially because we cover obviously so many that's not the case. So thank you, Rachel, amazing job, and hold your babies tight, y'all, and fight for it. Like, I talk about like the gold standard and stuff, but you know what, if they don't want to be a Cleo, be a fighter, demand what you want, and be a fighter.
I just love, she's like, I want chocolate. Like,
yeah, bitch. Like,
she's in this like horrific situation, and she's like, well, if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna eat chocolate. Yeah, and yeah, you're not putting no sticky tape on me, and she fought him back. Like, I love, everything about her is absolutely amazing. I am going to show you a photo of the 4 of them together. They are so cute. Again, I just want nothing but the best for this beautiful family.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
happy
beautiful,
family.
beautiful.
Right where she belongs, right? Right where she belongs.
Right next to her family. Yeah. Definitely.
Thank
All right,
you for ending on that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Like a nice image to
yeah, we need that. All right. We will talk to you guys next week, possibly on Thursday with a bonus. We will see if you guys get so lucky. And yeah, have an amazing week. Heather already said hug your babies. We'll talk to you next Tuesday. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.